Alrighty, so there we go. Another World Cup match day in the group stage is in the books, and believe it or not, today is actually the final day of match day number one in the group stage, which means that every single team out of these 48 that enter the World Cup have at least played once. And as we head into match day number two, the pressure is definitely amplified, especially for some of these teams that didn't do so well in match day number one, and some of these teams that didn't get a single point and lost their first match day. But for some of those teams that also have won their match day and some of them look very impressive, remember the old saying, it's not how you start, but how you finish. And we'll see how those team is going to look heading into the match day number two, whether they can keep up that good start that they had into match day number two and potentially maybe secure another 3 points to almost secure their way in terms of not only moving on to the knockout stage, but maybe finishing at the top of the group stage as well. But before we talk about these two games, which once again the two games I'm going to be reviewing are the first two game of the match day, because really when you look at some of the later game in the past couple of days, some of these games didn't really kind of interest me in terms of doing a full review, even though I did watched it in terms of these later that game that is, such as the one between Ghana and Panama, which I gotta say that was probably the most boring game we have seen so far in this tournament. And that's saying something because this tournament, man, oh man, every single game feels like bangers after bangers after bangers. And even with some of those boring games, there's always something crazy that has happened. And in the Ghana Panama game, even though it was a 90-minute snooze fest, of course it has to be a late winner that is scored. That's just how it is with this World Cup. Something always has to happen, even in a snooze fest game with Ghana snatching one late in the game. And that game also kind of felt vital for both of these teams because after what we saw in the game between England and Croatia, I think it's safe to say that, yeah, both of these teams need the 3 points. They maybe have a chance to finish as one of the best third place team because most likely those two teams I mentioned, England and Croatia, most likely is going to finish 1-2 in Group L. That is. And then the other game between Colombia versus Uzbekistan was almost a repeat of what I saw in the Austria versus Jordan game yesterday at Levi Stadium, where the favorite score the opening goal in the first half was looking pretty good, and then the other team score their first ever goal in the World Cup, and for Uzbekistan, what a moment that was for them to score their first ever goal in the World Cup. But unfortunately, it does not last very long. Colombia does get that second goal and eventually add the insurance third goal deep into stoppage time as well, and got the free one win to move on into match day number two. But now let's talk about the games I will do a full review and games that I watch closely, and that of course is the early game. Starting off with Portugal versus the DR Congo, and this is definitely one of the biggest surprising resort. I would say that obviously the Cape Verde resort. I don't think anything is gonna beat that. It's gonna be very tough to beat that. It's gonna take maybe Cape Verde somehow beating another good team or some of these lower ranked teams somehow provide a big shocking match day number two against a much superior team to create the biggest upset so far in this tournament. But I think this one is definitely right up there. And what's even more impressive for the Congo in this one is the fact that unlike Cape Verde where they pretty much just play haram ball for the full 90 minutes, pretty much just putting everybody back and absorbing pressure after pressure against Spain and somehow hold out. Congo did not do it, man, in this game. They were toe to toe with Portugal, and in many ways, you could say that they probably should have won this game because they were the better team when it comes to the chances for the most part in this one against Portugal. Portugal was very lackluster in this one, and of all the things I mentioned, heading into the World Cup with Portugal, the fact that this might be Ronaldo's last dance as well, and also knowing that I do feel like this team maybe could be a sleeper team, knowing the fact that not only they have a lot of quality player on their roster, but they're playing for Diego Jota this tournament. They know that there's got to be that emotional touch that they want to win this World Cup for him. But yeah, after this performance, they better hope that they can improve because this was not a great performance whatsoever from Portugal, and most importantly, this was not a great day if you're a Cristiano Ronaldo fan as well, because after you saw the big hitters yesterday, and including Ronaldo's biggest rival, Messi, scoring a hat trick, yeah, he kind of had a dud in this game against the Congo. Early on, as expected, Portugal dominated the possession, but can they break down the rigid Congolese defense? You just kind of had a feeling Congo they were going to pack in this one, similar to what we saw Cape Verde did against Spain, and it looked like that was not going to work because just 6 minutes into this game, João Neves would score from Pedro Neto to give Portugal a 1-0 lead. It was also the game first shot as well. So yeah, for the Congo a chance to maybe just kind of bunker in and maybe hope hoping that they can do something that Cape Verde did against Spain. Well, yeah, that's all out of the window with them conceding on the first shot of the game. And early on, it looked like, well, maybe this could be like a Germany and carousel situation where Portugal is going to really run the Congo off the park. That didn't happen because to the DR Congo credit, they started to have some chances of their own. First of all, it was Visa looked to respond for the Congo, but he missed wide from long range. Kembu would then puts it wide off of deflection. By the way, I know I didn't say it in the last couple of review. I do apologize if I mispronounce some of these names. Some of these names are really hard to pronounce. But in the 18th minute, or actually before I say that, I thought the Congo has responded well. They're looking to try to tie this one up. Fernandez would then puts it wide from close in the 18th minute. It was a pretty lackluster day for Bruno Fernandez as well. This was supposed to be a guy that was supposed to be their heart and soul, especially in the midfield. But yeah, this was a bit of a rough game for him. It was pretty much a rough game for all these Portuguese players as well. They definitely have played below their standard in this game against the Congo. Kinyemba would then hits it right to Costa in the 33rd minute. Despite not having a lot of possession, I thought the Congo has look like they've been very optimistic with chances. But now the question is, can they put this one of them in? Because we've seen before where some of these lower ranked teams and these heavy underdogs having their moments and definitely playing well, but they're not taking their chances, and that's kind of the reason why they're unable to get a result. Muntasami would then have a shot that was hit off one of his teammate, but then he had a shot that was deflected and goes wide in the 3rd minute stoppage time for a corner, and that was big because on the ensuing corner, the Congo scored as Visa would score from Musaku to tie the game up at one apiece, and that was a huge moment for the Democratic Republic of Congo because that was the first ever goal that the Congo has scored. By the way, this is actually not the debut for the Congo in the World Cup. They mentioned they play in the World Cup before. I think it was like 1970 or something like that when they last appear in the World Cup as well. It's been a while, but during that World Cup, they didn't score any goals. They finally did it here, scoring their first ever goal, and of course, it came out of set pieces because in this tournament, it feels like most of the goals that's been scored in this goal has either come off of a corner or it's an absolute banger as well. Take your pick. So in this moment, it was a set piece coming off the corner, and just like that, it was all tied up at one apiece. In the second half, Cancelo looked like he gave Portugal the lead back, but the goal was disallowed for offside. And then on the other end, the post would deny Bukumbu in the near post in the 57th minute. I thought both of these teams were getting some golden chances, but the problem is none of them were being clinical. And now the question is who can take that lead? Well, Caputo would try to do so, but he hits it wide from close before Ronaldo would put it wide from close range in the 68th minute. So yeah, it took 68 minutes before CR7 finally made his presence in this one. Not saying the fact that Portugal weren't trying to feed the ball to him. You can clearly see that there were times where they were trying to feed the ball to him. And this is where I think if you're Portugal, yes, I understand that you want to give the ball to Ronaldo and you want him to be the dangerous man because that's kind of what he wants and what he demands. How of that is maybe sometimes could be damaging to your team where you're just simply feeding the ball to try to a player when you know the opposition is going to do that. The Congo, they were knowing the fact that, yeah, Portugal is going to try to play for Ronaldo, and especially after what happened yesterday, it makes perfect sense why they try to play through Ronaldo because Ronaldo wants to get going, just like what we saw with some of the big star name yesterday as well. But sometimes when you keep doing that, it become very one dimensional, and this is where I thought Portugal was just being too one dimensional in this game. They just almost like they're forced to play the ball for Ronaldo when they really don't need to do it. There were better option elsewhere, and I know Ronaldo is big with this Portugal team. He is definitely a legend and is definitely going to go down as one of the GOAT in this game. But sometimes that can we have seen before when you basically decided to play the ball and at the same time forcing the ball to your star man all the time, it can do more harm than actually good as well. Now you're ignoring some of your other star players on this Portugal team that can make a difference, and that's kind of what we saw in this one. Bukumbu then puts it wide despite being wide open, 16 yards out in the 77th minute, and this was after Ronaldo had a shot that was deflected wide in the 74th minute. But the Bakumbu shot, that was a huge opportunity for the Congo. I mean, that is one that the Congo would want to have back, and really was the moment for the Congo to potentially make history. Fernandez would then puts it just wide from long range in the 90th minute, and then I thought Thomas Araujo got away with this one because he absolutely clothesline with there and only gets a yellow card there. What is it with World Cup where we see some of the most egregious challenge and somehow how a player would get away with a yellow card instead of red? Remember back in what the 2010 World Cup when Nigel Dion did a kung fu kick on Javi Alonso and I think Nigel Dion only got a yellow because of that. This was kind of almost similar. It feels like anytime we see a WWE or a UFC kind of move in the World Cup, yeah, it's just gonna be yellow card, and it's not gonna be a red card. Like when did the World Cup start becoming like CONCACAF, where we see this in CONCACAF and sometimes they only give it a yellow card as well. I don't know. That was kind of funny to just kind of mention, but either way, what a big result for the Congo. It's their first ever point that they've got in World Cup history fall after they got their first ever goal in their World Cup history as well, holding the Portugal to a 1-1 draw. And the shots in this one, 7 shots for the 8 that Congo has, 2 shots on goal compared to 1 that Portugal has, 4 shots off target with a 5 that Congo has, 1 shot as blocked for the 2 that Portugal has, and possession wise, it was a pretty lopsided possession stat. 75% possession compared to just 25 that the Congo has in this one. But as the old saying goes, possession stat usually doesn't tell the story. It's about how you do going for in front of goal. And as I said, Portugal was just really poor in this game in front of goal as well. And I mentioned the fact that maybe a lot of that has to do with them just keep feeding the ball to Ronaldo and uh, just not looking at other option and become too one dimensional as a result of that. But still, you got to give a lot of credit to the Congo in this one. What a resort this is, and they show in this game that they're not just gonna be a team that's just gonna lie down. This is gonna be a team that will compete in this World Cup and might even have a chance to maybe go through into the next round as well. Now, moving on into the next game, and now you finally get to the game that I'm pretty sure everyone want me to talk about. And again, as an England fan, I was really hoping England can get the win in this one, even though this is probably the toughest game that they have in the group stage that is. And I'm also gonna say that unlike certain polluted England fan, I'm not gonna say it's coming home just yet. It's still too early. So I thought England looked impressive in this game against Croatia, especially in the second half as well. They really pressed Croatia in this one, but it feels like another thing I want to say is that England was kind of doing something that Minnesota does in MLS play, where how I always complain about how Minnesota always doesn't make it easy on me when it comes to seeing them get win. They always have to make it tough on me and certainly their fans in terms of getting wins. I feel like that was England in this game. I mean, there was multiple times where they could have made themselves much easier by getting that four or fifth goals early on, but to be fair, they eventually did kill this game off. And yeah, when they scored that fourth goal, when Marcus Rashford scored that goal, I didn't really celebrate too hard. I was just kind of more relieved the fact that they finally got that crucial fourth goal to really kill this game off. Now, early on in the first half, it was actually Croatia that got the early opportunity as Sotalo with the game's first shot, but he puts it over on the volley. I thought Croatia did a pretty good job early on pinning down this England team. They were pressing hard early in this one. That really caused the English a lot problem early in this one. It's almost like England was just not ready with the press and maybe a little surprise as a result of it. Though I mean they shouldn't be because under Thomas Tuchel they are a team that likes to keep possession, and yeah, Croatia they know it, and they're gonna try to press high up the pitch to disrupt England with that possession and playing out of the back, and it kind of worked out pretty well at least early on in this one. Though as the game goes along, you kind of saw how they weren't that successful. Kane with England's first shot of the game, but he was did wide, and then a penalty was given to England as Modric brought down Madrid in the box there. Yeah, that's something you usually don't see ever happen very often with Luka Modric making a mistake there. They're committing a penalty, but nevertheless, here comes Harry Kane, the main man for England, a chance to bury it for England from the spot, and he missed because the Livakovic, who was kind of turning into prime on Manuel Neuer in this game at time, or since this is the World Cup, I would say he's kind of trying to turn into prime Memo Ochoa and Tim Howard, two of the more notable goalkeepers that we've seen that make some incredible save in the past of the World Cup, because he was everywhere in this one. He denied there from the spot. However, they did go to VAR to see whether or not if Livakovic came off his lines a little too early. VAR says yes, and it was not by much. I was a little bit surprised that they kind of overturned this one. Maybe a little bit favoritism toward England. I know how fans feel when England, of course, get calls that go their way. A lot of people get a little upset that they're probably raking this for England, but nevertheless, the penalty was taken, and this time Harry Kane makes no mistake. I mean, the first one was not a great penalty for Harry Kane. I think he tried to do the starter step. Once again, how many times I've said before, I hate when players do starter step from the penalty spot, because more times or not, when you do the starter step, I always feel like there's more risk, because if the goalkeeper don't move, you are basically a sitting duck. You pretty much are in a limbo situation where now you don't know where you're gonna put the ball in which side you want to choose, and because of that hesitation, the goalkeeper will always reads it and makes the save as a result. But the second penalty by Harry Kane, much better penalty. From him, just kind of blast this one and did the straight up. But yeah, just like that, England was taking the lead in this one. Musa didn't look to respond, but his shot was deflected for a corner. It was a little bit surprising Pedro Musa getting the start in this one, though I'm maybe shouldn't be, because he's been pretty big up in the Croatian national team as well, and it's great to see an MLS player uh, play in the World Cup, and especially it's something that was kind of a bit of a storybook in this game as well. But the remember how I said that shot was deflected for a corner? Well, later on it was overturned as a goal kick, because remember, in this tournament, a corner can always be checked, and if it's ruled incorrectly, they will of course change it to a goal kick. They can't do it on the other way, where you can change a incorrect call that was a goal kick to be a corner, which I always find that's stupid. I feel like if you're gonna have this rule where corners can be overturned for a goal kick, it should be working the other way, where we have seen before, where multiple time referees in this World Cup have got it wrong, where it was last touch of a defender that should have been a corner instead of being a goal kick. Madueke then had a shot that was deflected wide for a corner. England continued to dominate possession, and I thought they would do a little better job, at least early on, in terms of the Croatia press. It's almost like they kind of surprised them a little bit early on, but they did a much better job playing out of the back. Though I will say that Croatia did start again into this game, and guess what? It happened after the hydration break as well. This is not a big surprise. Every time when there's a hydration break, it always benefits the teams that is kind of reeling a bit, because now you have a chance to regroup and talk tactics. And it worked out for Croatia, because in the 36th minute, yeah, would score from Sujic to tie the game up and one apiece for Croatia. That equalizer only lasted just 6 minutes, because Harry Kane would score in the 42nd minutes to restore England lead. He scored from Declan Rice to make it 2-1 in favor of England. For those, of course, watching in the Prem, they know that that's kind of a regular routine of seeing Declan Rice putting a beautiful delivery into the box. He's pretty much done that all the time with Arsenal, and was one of the reasons why Arsenal won the Prem this year. But at the same time, you also got to question the defending there from Croatia as well. And again, I know it's another set piece goal. This feels like it's a common thing this tournament, but yeah, not marking Harry Kane, that is definitely an option by by Croatia. Not a great option either. More times or not, you chose that option. Yeah, you're basically giving England a goal there. So yeah, it's 2-1 in favor of England. Pasalic then looked to answer, but he missed high there, and this was Mario Pasalic. That is, there was two Pasalic in this one. You got Mario Pasalic and Marco Pasalic, who of course play for Orlando City. He did came in this game as a sub as well. And also, for those wonder, no, they are not related. In the 5th minute stoppage time, though, this was the storybook moment. Pedro Musa. How about this moment of him scoring from Perisic to tie the game up for Croatia. And I don't care that maybe that should have been offside in that moment. I mean, even though I was rooting for England in this one, when I saw that goal, not only I saw who scored, I almost kind of want to celebrate too, because as I said, every time when there's an MLS player score in this tournament, and especially not a well-known MLS player score in the this tournament to the world that is, it's a great moment for the league. And what a moment this is for Pedro Musa as well, a guy that played for FC Dallas, playing this game in Dallas as well. Well, technically Arlington that is, but it's still in the Dallas Fort Worth area. What a moment this has to be. That this feels like a Hollywood script, seeing a player that plays in this area and scoring a World Cup in the same city that he played in. And you can also see what it mean to him. Even when he scored that goal, he was definitely broke down in tears. And I don't blame him. I mean, what a moment this is, and not just for him, but also for the league itself. This is why we love watching this league, and this is why the league has really grown to a point where we're starting to see players scoring big goals in the World Cup against one of the best national team in the world. And I gotta say, if Pedro Musa continued to perform like this in the World Cup, and especially for FC Dallas, Dallas fans should be hoping that he can still return for the rest of the season, because there is going to be some huge offer for Pedro Musa. We saw how good he has been for Dallas this season, and if he can, like I said, if he can keep doing it in the World Cup, and maybe even when he come back to Dallas, there's going to be a huge offer that Dallas simply just cannot not refuse to reject that offer. But again, we'll see whether or not if that is going to be the case. I mean, if you're a Dallas fan, you're happy that Musa of course scored, and you hope that he can continue to score again. But at the same time, you're also like, yeah, I hope we can also hold on to him too, especially of how important he is to our attack as well. But we do head to halftime with the score tied up at two apiece. In the second half, though, England quickly restored the lead. Again, this game, we knew that this was going to be a huge game, and sometime in big games like this, it might be a bit of a letdown. It was not a letdown at all. This game was absolutely bonkers. Where at times defense was kind of not a thing in this one, because in the 47th minute, Jude Bellingham would score from Anderson to give England the lead for the third time in this one, and that kind of looked like more of the Jude Bellingham of old. He didn't really had a good season this year with Real Madrid, but that goal was definitely going to help his confidence and definitely help England as well. They need him alongside with Harry Kane as being the main goal contributor of this England team. But just like that, England were up 3-2. Bellingham then looked to try to get another, but he was denied by Livakovic. I thought they started well in the second half. They were pressing to try to get the fourth. O'Reilly would head it wide from close, as now the shots were 12-4 for England. But it's about to get more dominant for England, because in the 52nd minute, Livakovic would deny Rice on the crawler. He then make an incredible free save. This was just a crazy sequence where O'Reilly had a big opportunity to give England the lead, but he was robbed by Livakovic. But then Gordon had a chance to hit this one, and for Anthony Gordon, I mean, that is one that he's gonna want to have back, because from that range, and especially him getting there first, he's got to put that one away. Didn't do so, and then Konsa had a chance as well, but again, Livakovic, he was being prime Ochoa and Tim Howard in this one. He was just saving everything. He would deny Kane in the 57th minute before doing it again in the 58th minute. Again, England was just all over Croatia up to this point. They should have been 4-2 up, but the reason why it's not 4-2 is because of Livakovic. He was definitely standing on his head up to this point, and it was huge the fact that Croatia did head to that hydration break with the score 3-2, because I just had a feeling as we head into the second part of the second half, after that hydration break, England's going to lose all their momentum. And guess what? They did lose all their momentum, because Croatia started to come back into this game. Pickford had to deny Marco Paslic from close range before Metanovic would hit it right to Pickford in the 78th minute. Pickford didn't really had a great game, at least in the first half, that is, but he did come up big in the second half to come up with those big save to preserve the 3-2 lead. And as I said, the hydration break, it has really gave all the momentum for Croatia. Now they're trying to press to try to get the equalizer. Though on the other end, Livakovic would deny Spence from close range. Kovacic then hits it right to Pickford in the 84th minute. Then in the 85th minute, England finally got that fourth and killer 2-goal lead, as Marcus Rashford would score from Saka to make it 4-2 in favor of England. And yeah, that definitely feels like one that not only is a really lead for for England fan like myself, but it's also the fact that yeah, that's been coming. That Croatia D, they've been under siege pretty much for most part of the second half. It finally gave way. Kane did try to look for a hat trick, trying to join Messi on the top of the goal scoring golden boot race, but his shot was deflected wide. But in the end, England does win this one, 4-2 win against Croatia. Very entertaining game and definitely a start of the World Cup that for England they usually sometimes have like boring games to start the World Cup, but this was definitely not one of them. This looked like they mean business after this game against a pretty impressive Croatian team. Dalton has won 20 shots compared to 10 that Croatia has. 12 shots on goal in this one. That is by far, I think, the most shot on goal I've seen any national team has had so far in this tournament, and that includes Germany as well, despite the fact that they put 7 past carousel compared to 5 that Croatia has. 3 shots off target for both of these teams. 5 shots that was blocked for the 2 that Croatia has, and possession-wise, 54% possession compared to 46% possession that Croatia has in this game. And now with this big win that England has had, you just kind of had a sense that they can now run the table because against Ghana and Panama. They can keep this up. They should be able to beat Ghana and Panama, but the key word is should because we've seen before there's been some upset so far in this tournament. And for Croatia, I don't think there's too much worry. I still think they'll probably finish second in the standings. They maybe think about tightening up the defense a little bit because they were just getting walk all over at time in this game. And if it wasn't for Livakovic, this game probably would have been 5 or 6-2 in favor of England after the end of this one. But nevertheless, I think Croatia is going to be fine. I think they should take care of business against Panama and Ghana. And again, the keyword is should because we've seen some big upset and seen some European teams that had their issues sometimes with these lower ranked teams. That is, but yeah, I do think both of these teams is going to finish 1-2. But it also doesn't take away the fact that man, what a game this turns out to be. And this is kind of a game that I just wonder as we get deeper into the World Cup, are we going to be in for these kind of games as well? Because that would have been amazing to see two powerhouse of nation facing off against each other and provide such an entertaining action as what we saw in this game between England and Croatia. But there you have it. That is pretty much it when it comes to another review of this World Cup. This one was a little bit longer because we spent a lot of time talking about this game. This was really the main event when it comes to today's action and maybe even in this group stage so far. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do, make sure you guys leave a like, smash the subscribe button, and yeah, I of course will see you guys next time.